Hello there. Welcome everyone. Don't know if anyone's on yet, but I am alive. I'm alive and well. How's everyone doing? I hope you guys are doing better than I did this month. Well, it wasn't all bad. But I just want to let you guys know I'm back right out the gate. Okay? It's not completely over. The pain has not completely gone away, but it has gotten a lot better. And regardless of the pain, I just don't care because I love you guys. And I'm going to work on this channel regardless. I've given it a good amount of time, and I've had to learn a lot of things this month that I kind of been ignoring over the years. I'm going to be kind of vague because some of this stuff that's happened, I really cannot share with the public. Okay, at the public level, I really can't do it. Um, for reasons that obviously I can't get into. Though I will say this, I was in pain for much of this month. Um, I was my body was not working correctly, more like I wasn't eating correctly. And so I hope I'm coming through okay. Let me see here. I have it muted. Let me unmute it to see if I can hear myself. You guys are going to hear some feedback real quick.
Okay,
So
so
I hope I'm coming through okay. Let me see here. Yeah, so far so good. So that sounds okay. So couple things. I don't know if there's anybody watching right now. That's fine. I'm just basically you know I'm just talking to you guys directly. I am gonna crack into Solaris area. Actually, I do want to go ahead and go ahead and create a new empire. I'm actually gonna try to do a new series on the side maybe, or I've got a project that I want to do a little bit of storytelling. But so now that I'm back, there's some things I want to work on, some things I want to change and do differently. One of them is I am going to kind of make shorts the top priority for this channel. What I mean by that is I'll tell you what I don't mean. What I don't mean is that I'm only going to make shorts and nothing else. That's ridiculous. Of course not. A lot of you guys come to my channel for my videos. I'm going to continue doing that, though it's not going to be required. Like I'm not going to be pressured or obligated to come out with them. I guess is the attitude I want to have. But my shorts are my bread and butter. Let's face it. They are the backbone of this channel. They are what keep this channel alive. They keep me in the algorithm. They get my name out. They get me more subscribers, which translates to more views and more watch time and more revenue. And that's just a fact. And that's actually kind of just the new normal of how, I hate to use that term, but that really is the new normal of YouTube. Me and many others, I'm sure, resisted it for many years, but that's just how YouTube is now. Um, if you're a channel and you don't make shorts, you're at best you're not going to do nearly as well as another channel that's releasing the same content that's doing shorts. So, and also my shorts are enjoyable, I believe, and I do enjoy making them. I don't think they're bad. I think they give good information. I think they help a lot of people. A lot of people have commented on my shorts. They like my shorts. They do get views, and so I'm going to make sure that my shorts are good before I work on anything else. So what that means is I'm going to try to create a big backlog, and when I'm satisfied with how many, how big my backlog is, my goal right now is maybe shoot for at least 3 months out from now. So if something like this happens again, I can just step back and be like, okay, we'll catch up, the next month or whatever. Because these shorts are very easy to make, and I have a lot of content that does need to be chopped up and needs more exposure, and I think could benefit from that. Because I do have a lot of long form content that's just not getting the attention that it deserves. And, so so that's kind of the deal there. So shorts will come first. That doesn't mean that, you know, videos will not happen anymore. Absolutely not. I enjoy making videos. I just don't want to be pressured to do them. That's what I want to go away. And that's why I felt really on the channel side of things was not working for me up until I collapsed this month. Though that was not the reason. My channel my collapse this month had nothing to do with the channel. It had nothing to do with you guys. It really didn't. There were a couple moments of drama behind the scenes that I can't talk about, that I don't think it's appropriate to talk about. That happened, that you know, that were an issue, but they absolutely were not the reason I shut down and went dark. There were times, guys, this month where I simply could not even get out of my bed. I really could not even think straight. Didn't even know what to say. You know, I would have moments of you know, good feeling and moments of like, you know, energy and peace and, you know, relief, but I couldn't predict when that would be, and that just made it impossible for me to work on my channel. It really did. I had no motivation. It wasn't depression either. Like, so basically, I'll get to what was happening in a minute, but I want to keep on focus on my channel, on my channel plans going forward. So, I'm gonna get that backlog back up, and I want to work on it. You know, the time for me to leave and go back to America, and then, you know, just for a month, is rapidly approaching. So I am going to need to get this backlog done, so I can just chill and relax the month of between June and July, and then it'll be back in business as usual, which it will be, because I'm pleased to announce to everyone also something else. The biggest that's happened this month is my landlord handed me the new contract proposal for my lease, and it looks good. It's only a 10% increase, and I looked at it for 5 seconds, looked at her and said, "Where do I sign?" A 10% increase, considering what's going on today, considering that any Philippine vlogger will tell you that the housing market here sucks right now. It does. I mean, that's just a fact. Everybody knows it. There's, especially with condos, you know, buying condos, things like that. It's just not it's not very good here right now. Considering the global economic issues, and I'm not going to get into politics, but I mean, we all know what's going on with politics, so I don't even need to talk about them at all. We know what's going on there. Given that, you know, and then given the fact that I would have had that same increase in the U.S. anyway. So, yeah, this is not something this is pretty reasonable, I think, given the context. Not to mention, my landlord's been extremely good to me. They've even fixed issues I've had. It took them a while, but you know what? I heard from, you know, anonymous sources here that, you know, that's usually not the norm. Usually they never fix your stuff. So I think I've got a pretty good landlord. Honestly, I think I got pretty lucky. Yeah, you know, you do good things, man, and you get taken care of. You do. It's been my experience. So, you know, it looks like we've got somebody in here. So whoever that is, welcome. I'm not going to call you out other than that. And so I got a really good, looks like I'm going to live here easily another year. I'm not going to have to move, which is going to be great. So I'm very hopeful, and that's very exciting. You know, it's just a 10% increase. It's just another $100 a month for me. So, like I said, I'll gladly pay another $100 to stay here long term. And to those of you that think that that's unreasonable, I assure you it's not. Anybody who's rented for a long time will tell you that that's pretty standard. That was my experience, especially in America. It was pretty normal for them to raise the rent at that rate. I've only had one time, and that was the pandemic. That doesn't count, where my rent did not go up that year, and it stayed the same. That's just the way things are when you rent. Your rent's going to go up year after year. It may be $50. It may be, hell, it may even be, maybe $50. It may be 300. I've had all those in between as well. So, yeah, 10%, man, I will take that. That was like almost more than what I hoped for. I was hoping they would at least keep it under 200. But now they, 10% to 100, roughly $100, when they could have doubled the price, when they could have increased it by like 500. I've heard, and that's the other thing I've heard from anonymous sources, that does happen, that the landlords will try to, they'll let you get settled in, and then they'll be like, bam, pay this or move, to see what they can sucker out of you, basically scam you. And so I'm pleased to announce that didn't happen to me. And my fears, of course, as always, weren't warranted. So that's a good thing that happened. So I'm going to create a backlog. My goal is to create a backlog up until August. However, I'm going to see if I can get it for the entire year, if I have enough content to do that. I'm going to space the shorts 2 days apart. I think that's a pretty good balance there. I might lengthen it to 3 days. We'll see. We'll see how difficult it is for me to get this backlog going. I don't think I'm going to have to resort to that, but I might. But I'd rather come out with a short every 3 days or every 2 days than come out with nothing. Like this month, I came out with nothing. I did not even get on CapCut on my editor. I just did not have the willingness at all to do it. So yeah, that's my plan for shorts. My plan for videos. Now, the videos I ripped from my streams, they were successful, but the last one I tried to chop up was really bad, and I had to scrap it. I don't have any other way of saying it. That was the other thing that happened. I did try to get some momentum together this past month to try to get some work done, and it just blew up in my face, and I didn't have the emotional resilience at the time to really, so I just walked away from it and scrapped the whole thing. I feel that when it comes to normal videos, I am going to have to do some kind of a script and kind of, have some structure to it. Also, really want to work on my communication on and off stream, regardless of what content I'm putting out. I am really getting tired of the ums and buts, guys. I really am. I would like to have much clearer communication with you guys. I would like to stay on topic more. So verbal communication is something I'm going to be constantly working on. I've always worked on. I just want to work on it more, and I really want to drill down on it. So that's my goal. But that's a goal, and that's a result. And I don't have control over the results, but I have control over what I show up to. So I'm going to start showing up to that. I'm going to do my best to leave out pauses, ums and buts, but honestly, pauses at the very least, pauses are okay because I can always edit those out. But I need to make these streams editable, and it's hard to say. I need to be able to edit my streams, and I can't do that when I'm all over the place, when I take 10 minutes to talk about the topic that I'm focused on, or I'm off topic for that long. It's not an easy way to crank out content that way. So I'm going to have to dial it down there, guys. And so with videos, though, what I want to do is I want to make a script. And I found that I could actually I may not even need OBS to make my videos anymore. With CapCut, that is such a good editor. I'm really getting good at it. And I'm really getting comfortable with it. I'm really surprised. It didn't start that way. I thought it was stupid. I thought it was bad. But man, it has a lot of really powerful tools on there. One of them is being able to voice record, and it doesn't sound bad, and I can have AI scrub it and make it sound better. Not do it for me. Okay, this is not an AI voice, all right? So, this is not an AI voice. I do not have an AI voice, guys. I don't. All right? But yeah, the AI can cut out the background noise and basically do what takes me hours to do in OBS. So, yeah, so I can make a recording and a script, but I want to do it a lot quicker and spend less time with it, which I have actually come up with a system and been able to do it, make it much simpler. So I think it's going to be making the script will be much faster. Doing the voice work will be much faster, and on CapCut it is a lot easier than doing it on OBS. That's the other thing as well. It's much faster. So I'm confident that I can actually maybe up the quality of my videos, my regular videos. Another thing I want to do also is I actually would like to go back, try again, making long form videos, but then reacting to them and then chopping them up into smaller videos and trying that out as well on the side, especially for games that that currently aren't my flagship game. So I guess what I mean by flagship game, obviously Stellaris is the main game that most people watch me for. It's no secret. I'm aware of it. I know it. Do I like it? I got mixed feelings about it. You guys know that. I don't want to be pigeonholed in any one particular thing. I don't want to put my eggs all in one basket. And I want to diversify that, doing just Stellaris goes against all my principles. It really does. So it is what it is, though. And at the end of the day, the numbers matter. So yeah, I am never going to completely stop making Stellaris content. That would just be a bad move. So that is my main, I guess. It's kind of like in certain was it hero games? I forgot. Or hero shooters, I think is what it's called. Games like Overwatch and stuff like that, or any game where you have lots of different characters that you can play, or lots of different playstyles. Most people have a main or a favorite playstyle that they play all the time, or a large majority of the time. So I guess you could say that Stellaris is my main, and that the other games are on the side. So with the games on the side, I want to get it to where, I'm just, whenever I feel like it, I'm just casually working on projects on the side. But then when it's time to work, I focus mainly on Stellaris or whatever project I'm actually wanting to come up with at the time, or that I'm close to finishing, and get it done and get it out to you guys. And make sure that my shorts are current. So that's actually, priorities is what's going to change here. My first priority is getting that backlog of shorts, making sure that's current, making sure that's, at least I would like to keep it a couple months in advance at all times in case something stupid like this happens again. I can easily recover from it, or you guys won't even notice it, okay? Other than the lack of long-form content, right? So that's the first priority. The second priority is, putting out at least a couple videos a month, if not more. That seems to have been the norm with me anyway. So, and doing more streams. So streams also, that's something else that dropped off a cliff this month. It wasn't intentional, and I do want to apologize for that. Like I said, when I make plans, I have the best of intentions. I'm not lying. It's just stuff like what I'm about to talk about comes out. Okay, so it's been 19 minutes, and I realize I haven't really talked about what happened. All right, so I'm going to go into the story now about what happened. I'm pretty sure I've covered most of what I wanted to talk about in regards to the future of this channel, which really is not going to go unchanged very much. We're going to come back to normal for the most part, guys. We're going to get that backlog going, and we're going to start coming out with videos. I am going to cover. I do want to cover different games. There have been a couple games that I've started playing that are really cool, and they are popular. They do have really great Steam reviews, and I think they do have a lot of potential as far as generating content, at least on the side. So, and also 7 Days to Die is about to have a huge update. Okay, so I probably will make at least a video or two about that, though I'm going to be careful because every time I've made videos about 7 Days to Die, I've gotten my hand slapped. All right, so to my story. So let's start from the beginning. So when April hit, now I have always kind of had this issue. Let me go ahead. So I've had an issue for many years, even before I switched to carnivore, where I would get stomach irritability. What I mean by that is I would eat food. I would eat a lot of food oftentimes, and it would cause my stomach. It would cause me stomach discomfort, and I would drink a lot of fluids with it, and I have acid reflux, by the way, mild, but it's there. So that combined with that, and it would affect my mood and basically turn me into a different person. And that's a nice way of putting it. Basically, it made me a rage monster. It turned me into the Incredible Hulk. It really did. I am a total fucking jerk when I hate to use the word on YouTube, but I am a complete jerk when I'm in this mode, when this is happening, and there's nothing I can do about it. Well, this started getting really bad. And not only that, what started happening is when this started happening to me this month, I just did not feel right at all. Like, it wasn't just the irritability, that was one thing, but it was accompanied by just all feeling I can't even describe it. It was I felt like molten clay, like I was melting. I can't even, it's so weird, but it was very uncomfortable, and I wasn't able to focus. I wasn't able to think straight, and all I could do was focus on that feeling. And it took a lot of interpersonal work too. It took a lot of self-care just to get through that. And I had no attention, time, or resources to give to my channel or anything else. It was very difficult. There were times where I laid half the day in bed. The other thing that was happening also during this time, at least in the beginning of the month, until I solved the issue for the most part, was my cramps that I've been experiencing since I changed to carnivore got a lot worse. They got so bad that I was lucky to get more than 3 hours of sleep a night. I was extremely sleep deprived, so that was compounding this on top of that. And it was just a double whammy. So between that, the sleep deprivation, the irritability, the mood swings, that going on, and the disgusting feeling and just being the misery, I really, not to mention, there was no way in hell I was going to stream that way, right? Why the hell would I stream that way? So, so this went on for a couple weeks, and I was at my wit's end, and I finally was just like, okay. And I actually had been focusing on the cramp issue for a long time, but I couldn't find a solution. I finally had a breakthrough, and I finally just hauled off after all the research and thinking and trying different stuff. I was like, you know what? This is clearly electrolytes. Okay, so screw it. I'll just put salt in my goddamn water. So I grabbed a teaspoon of salt, and I put it in my 128. I have this big jug of water, and I put it in there. and I drank it. I drank a lot of it. This was in between meals. And I noticed an immediate response. Normally, my body doesn't respond right away to anything. This was, I'm telling you, like within an hour, a lot of the symptoms I was having at the time started evaporating. Like they were gone within an hour and a half. And I was feeling for the first time like my old self again. Now, this didn't last, but this was definitely a wake-up call and definitely told me that, yeah, this I'm onto something. This is definitely part of the solution. Now, I thought it was the solution, but see, that's what has made this thing such a motherfucker as well. Pardon my French, but I can't say any other way. I really can't. It made it such a bitch was the fact that there are multiple things that I have to do to fix this issue. It's not just a one thing that fixes all. It's not there isn't a fix all solution here. There are many solutions that I have to use together, and I'll talk about them in a second. But it started with salt water. So salt water. I don't have to go buy electrolytes. I don't have to buy supplements. I don't have to do any of this bullshit. I just need to grab salt and throw it in my water. That's it. That's all I had to do. Now what the salt water has done has been almost a fix-all for is the cramps. I still get them, but they're not as bad. They're very infrequent, and they only really happen if I'm not drinking enough water. But or I'm not putting enough salt in the water. So I find that anything below 1 teaspoon for me per 128 ounces of water, you could do the math there. And like I said, do that at your own risk. I'm not responsible for what you do with this information at all, or any of this information that I put out here. You're responsible for your own shit. I'm not telling anybody to do anything here. All right? I'm not professional. I'm not a doctor. I'm not telling you what to do with your health. I'm just telling you what worked for me. And if you want to try that at your own risk. That's on you. Okay? I can't give medical advice on this channel. In fact, that's not what this channel is about anyway. So I just want to make that clear. I'm not a professional, not a qualified professional, though I do have my opinions about a lot of the quote qualified professionals. Legally, I'm not a qualified professional. So I would definitely, what I can say is it'd probably be a good idea if you're suffering like I am to maybe seek a second, look for a qualified professional that is appropriate to you, that deals or specializes with the issues that you have and actually wants to cure the condition and not just treat it, which is actually something that I'm looking for right now, on the side. And I don't want to get too into that because that would get borderline, politics. I don't want to do that. That would touch on sensitive topics and I don't want to really get. I don't want to face any. I don't want anything bad to happen. Based on what I say. But yeah, salt water was a definite win, and that's when things started turning around. So I got hydrated again. That was the other thing that was going on. If it seemed like no matter how much water I drank, I was thirsty all the time. And this and what was in my stomach, that irritability, it was clearly indigestion too. I could tell that I was not digesting my food. I was having sulfur burps. It was terrible. It was just terrible. And not excruciating, agonizing pain, not sharp, acute pain, but just chronic pain. It was really hard to deal with. And so now that part continued, but to a lesser degree. And it did improve when I started drinking the salt water. So that was the other thing. I was dehydrated. I was sleep deprived. I was in pain. I was uncomfortable. So the other thing I had to do this month and had to learn was I cannot do what I used to do before I went carnivore and just load up on food. I can't have these big plates of food anymore. I can't have. I can't. I just can't do it. I've got to. For me, I've got to strictly control the amount of food that I'm, or anything, including water, also that I'm ingesting. So and hanging out, supporting it. Oh yeah, hey, how's it going, man? Finishing a final. Congrats, man. You know? Yeah, dude, I think I remember you. You were 11 Bravo, right? Um but yeah, so good to have you, man. Good to have you. Um but yeah, I what do you think about what I said so far, man? I mean, this, but I can't eat the way I used to. So it was very clear to me over time that I can't eat the way that I used to eat, and I can't even drink water the way I used to drink. I have to be good to my stomach now, and I did have problems with eating in the past, which, and I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to go into details, but yeah, as you guys know and saw, I was overweight at one time. I still, well, I don't actually, it may not be now. I did lose some weight this month. Surprise, surprise. Considering what was going on, I was not surprised at all. Yeah. Happy to see you again. I just jumped in. I've been thinking about overhauling my diet as well. Yeah, well, like I said, I'm not qualified professional. Do what you will with the information that I give here. I'm not telling anybody to do anything. I'm not giving advice, and I'm not a professional. So, it's on you. That stuff's on you. Whatever you decide to do with what I say, that's on you, man. But yeah, I mean, I encourage anyone to just really, take a good look at. I mean, carnivore worked for me. I believe in it, 100%. I don't care what anybody says. And this stuff that's happening with my stomach, I want you guys to know this has been an issue for a long time. It's just I've ignored it, and it wasn't, it didn't disrupt me compared to all the other things that were disrupting me. But now I just don't have any tolerance for that anymore. It's like, okay, so yeah, I've been having to learn a new way to eat and a new way to drink. So yeah, so after the salt water, I made that breakthrough, but it was still going on. I was still frustrated, and so for the next week or so, I realized that like I said, every time I loaded up on food and I just ate whatever I wanted, and I didn't control the quantity, it would wipe my day out. It pretty much wiped my day out. I'd have that stomach irritability and that grogginess, and so, and it was also very clear that I wasn't digesting my food fast enough. And yeah, I gotta agree with what you're saying, man. I mean, like I said, you decide what you want to do. You're responsible for your decisions. But yeah, I mean, I'm not an MD, but man, I can't really believe that processed food does anything good to the human body, no matter what, whether you eat plants or not. I don't recommend eating plants for myself. I think, I'm against. I think plants are toxic to me. Other people can eat them safely. It just, yeah, it just doesn't work with me. Now I can take small amounts. I've found that I've been, during this year that I'm still able to take small amounts of plant material, like maybe the occasional spice here or whatever, or even I'll eat sugar cured bacon, but it doesn't really, the important thing, it doesn't kick me out of ketosis, and I'm not eating a large amount of it. So my body naturally filters that out, which is fine. Yeah, I think honestly, for me, being natural as possible definitely is still, I think, is better than just eating stuff that has paragraphs on it. What I mean by that is you look at the ingredients and it's like a whole paragraph of stuff that you don't even know what it is. Like hyper caramelized cellulose fiber rosic acid. What the hell is that? You know what I mean? Like, if you look at an ingredient and you don't even know what the hell it is, it looks like it came out of a lab. That's because it did, in my opinion. In my opinion. Well, is it really an opinion? Come on, let's get real. Okay. If the ingredient was orange, okay. Well, yeah, it's made from it's made out of oranges and nothing else. That's what that tells me. But even then, see, yeah, only one has to look at the cancer rates today compared to the 1950s. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. And then the 1950s compared to 100 years ago. And then 100 years ago compared to 1,000 years ago. And then actually, there is actually, you know, I hope I don't get demonetized over this, but like, there is a lot of evidence to suggest, and you do your own research. Like I said, again, I'm not an expert, but there's a lot of evidence to suggest that before the agricultural revolution, we were 10 times healthier than we were before we started eating plants as a majority of our diet. But before we went agricultural, we were not really eating a lot of plants. I mean, we would occasionally, I'm sure, but like we mostly preferred meat, and there's a lot of evidence in, you know, in our organs currently that we are designed to eat meat and not, you know, and not fiber. So, like I said, I hope I don't lose my channel over that. But I mean, really, it's the truth, man. It's been my experience, and there are a lot of videos out there. There's a lot of content out there that gives what I think is pretty good information. And those people are professionals. Those people that run those channels are professionals. They do have degrees. They did go to medical school. They do have MDs. I mean, some of you know who they are, and I'm not going to mention them right now, but yeah, they have helped me a lot through this. So I guess what I want to say about this too, this issue with the stomach irritability and things, this is wreckage of my past, guys. I don't know how else to say it. I really abused myself with food growing up and in my adult years before I became carnivore. So it's really no surprise that I've got these stomach issues. So it's just what I just have to accept that, and this is, you know, what I'm doing now is what I have to do. In fact, I have stomach irritability and discomfort right now, but I'm just, you know, I'm ignoring it, and I'm actually able to. And that's another thing. That's kind of the psychological and I dare say spiritual side of things that have gotten better during this month, because I've learned how to deal with my pain a lot better by channeling it and meditating and really getting in touch with my spirituality. That's actually the silver lining here, is that my spiritual health has increased dramatically this month because it had to, because that was the only thing that was keeping me together, keeping me from going completely insane with what was going on. So, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, exactly. We did have to work a lot harder for our food back in the day. Yeah. I mean, instantly 2 advertisements as soon as you finish saying that. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, look, guys, I appreciate you wading through the advertisements. I really do. It does help when you watch them. You don't have to. I hate advertisements too. I hate the ads. I hate the over monetization of the internet. I know I say that ironically as I'm profiting from it. It sounds hypocritical, but I'm not saying we shouldn't do it at all. I'm saying that, like, I think we could add a lot more. We could make marketing and monetization a lot more honest. I think there's just a lot of dishonesty in the world. There is such a thing as honest business, you know? mutual partnerships, things like that. I think that concept has gotten forgotten. I think a lot of marketing now is just like designed to kill the goose that lays the golden egg, so to speak. But I see a lot of that going on because I appreciate good businesses. I mean, I'm an investor. I am. I small time, but I have investments, and I'm money savvy. I I like being financially responsible. So like, yeah, I mean, you know, let's see. Oh, congratulations, man, and thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate it, man. You know, you don't have to, but I do appreciate it, man. And look, I'm gonna get that backlog going for you. Now that you're a member, you're gonna be able to see when I make my backlog of shorts. You're gonna be able to have a shitload of content that you're gonna be able to see before everybody else. As far as shorts are concerned, maybe even some videos if I get that good again. But I can't guarantee right now, guys, that I'll have a backlog of videos. I tried that. I think I kind of that was a little too much. So, but the shorts for sure, you're going to be able to see my shorts as soon as I post them in advance. So, if you become a member, so thank you for that. Appreciate it. I haven't really looked at my analytics, guys. I've kind of been dreading it. I always do whenever I go dark. You guys know, you guys have been with me for a while. You know I've gone dark several times in the past. Not that I could help it, but yeah, I mean, yeah, man. Stellaris is a decent game. So there is a lot of exciting things happening with Stellaris. I don't know when they're going to roll out this new update. Maybe they already have, and I just haven't realized it. I don't think. I'm pretty sure it said 3.14 when I loaded it up just now. But yeah, so yeah, man. I've had just health problems. Reoccurring, just existing health problems that had got worse this month because I had, like I said, I had to do things differently. I had to put salt. So I have to put salt in my water. I have to electrolyze my water. That's what they call it. Now, I salt it enough to where it doesn't taste bad. I can taste the salt, but it's not bad. Like it's drinkable, and it's mostly clear. And there's a little hint of it, but that's okay. But I got to put some kind of salt in my water regardless. The other thing, too, is I had an issue with water. So the water I've been drinking, I found out that whole time it was distilled, that was making the cramps even worse as well. Not to mention, it's garbage water. It really is. It's just glorified tap water. That's all the water I had been drinking up until this point had been. And, I switched to another carrier that they said they alkalinized their water and they put minerals in it, but I really didn't see much of a different result. And as for all I know, it still was the same piss water as the other one, just they made it more alkaline and they put minerals in it. Ooh, whoop-de-fucking-do. It's still got lots of chlorine in it and all this other stuff that's being put in the water in your standard city around the world. Not going to get into that topic either. I got to be careful with what I say there. I'm not being a conspiracy theorist, guys. Some of this is pretty common knowledge. It's pretty common knowledge that tap water is generally not good long term for the human body. But then again, I'm not an expert, so like I said, this is just an opinion right now. Yeah, and I remember that too. They gave us salt tablets in the army in Iraq in the desert, and it was mandatory. We had to use them. They ordered us to use them. I had to use them. And not to mention, the MREs have a crap load of sodium in them. And so, and actually, I do want to talk about this narrative that's out there right now that's sodium bad. Bullshit. That's all I got to say about that. And you know what? I'll be damned. You know what? Demonetize me, YouTube, if you think that that's wrong. I don't care, man. That is bullshit. This whole high sodium bad thing. Now, like I said, I'm not a professional. If you think you have a problem with sodium, and your doctor says you can't have it, okay, that's none of my business. All right, I'm not telling you to do anything medically. Like I said, I'm not qualified to give medical advice, but I think it's bullshit. I do. I think this whole narrative that sodium is bad for you is bullshit. Now it is true. We can't exist off of seawater alone. And I say seawater alone because, I got to thinking about, why does this salt water help me so much? Well, think about it. Our ancestors, for millions of years, lived next to the ocean. But actually, I actually do I do believe that sodium actually is pretty important for the human body. But think about it, man. I want to give you a thought experiment here. So, millions of years ago, before civilization, before agriculture, we were living next to oceans, right? We were diving in those oceans, swimming in those oceans. We catch fish, we would fish. But then while we were swimming, don't you think we gulped that salt water once in a while? Of course we did. And our bodies adapted to that. And so we drink that salt water and be like, oh man, we get thirsty. And so we go to the nearest river or whatever that was nearby. And then we get our fresh water that way, and that would balance our salt intake. But, and you think of doing that naturally for millions of years, don't you think our bodies would have evolved towards that by now? And actually craved? In fact, maybe that's where our salt craving came from. That and the fact that even before the agricultural revolution, we were preserving our meats and our food in salts for a long time. I mean, so you don't think the salinity was the same as it is now? I don't. I mean, I'd have to do research on that. I'd have to look into that, but I doubt that it's really changed that much in the space of 10,000 years at least, or million years. I mean, stuff like that. Those kind of changes take a long time, maybe. I don't know, but I'm not an expert. I'm not a scientist, so I'd have to check my facts on that. But yeah, but as far as I know, the ocean's always been too salty to drink, right? So, I mean, for the most part. So yeah, you can't drink salt water, but that doesn't mean that salt's bad for you. It just means that you have to have actual water, you have to have a good ratio. But this idea of no sodium being healthy, I don't think that's true at all. I don't. I see it now. And I have physical proof of it. It seems like the more salt I take in, the better I feel, and the better I do. So, and the better my emotions are. Yeah, man, no, we're just bullshitting today, guys. Like I said, the title is Channel Update Stream, coming back from hell. This month was hell. I mean, there was triumph and tragedy this month for sure, but a lot of it was hell. I experienced a lot of hell this month. Yeah. I mean, I'm having the discomfort now, but it is bearable somewhat. Yeah, so that's what's been going on this month, guys. So I found out about salt water, and that's been a sustain. That's something that I'm gonna be doing indefinitely. And the other thing I'm doing is I'm weighing and measuring my food. I've done it in the past, but I broke away from that when I went carnivore. I felt like I'll just eat when I'm hungry or whatever, and that worked for a little bit. But I've got to take care of my stomach and make sure I'm not putting too much in it at a time. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. That's why I weigh and measure the food. So I find that so far it seems like between 4 and 8 ounces every meal seems to be good. Also, not drinking too much water at one time. I'm just basically been sipping it, and I just sip the water throughout the day. I think that just leave it at that. And when I'm hungry or feeling squirrely, I go ahead and get another 4 to 8 ounces of meat. Also, been experimenting with types of foods, and I find that I do have less reaction when I'm eating just meat for me, steak in particular. But then again, really, I think it's really the volume that I was eating that was the problem. I think it was the volume I was drinking. Um, I think really I just need to basically drip feed my stomach instead of just like, treating it like a garbage can, basically. Just dumping stuff there. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to eat a little bit at a time. Now, the only issue with that is that I have problem that does come up that I need to find a solution for is how am I going to get enough food each day to be able to grow and maintain my muscle mass? Because that is another concern of mine. That is something I'm concerned with, because I have, and also working out. I started working out again, and that definitely turned things around too. So, like I said, there's multiple solutions here, and they all need to be done to fix this issue. It's not just any one thing that's a fix all here. I have to do many different things. I've got to regulate, how much I'm ingesting, whether it's food and, both food and water. I got to make sure I'm not drinking too much water too close to when I just ate, and then there's the, I need to exercise also. So my exercise, what I'm doing now, I'm working out every day. I don't, for the most part, except for 1 or 2 days I might take the day off. But I do not go a day or more than a day or two without doing some kind of strenuous activity. It's just not good for me. So you said I found my body being more responsive and in shape when I was eating 5 small meals per day as opposed to 3 larger meals per day. Honestly, man, that's where I'm gravitating towards. I think that might actually be the only solution that I can do with the amounts that I'm taking in is 5 meals, because it is more frequent small meals, which kind of goes counter to what the advice that's out there right now about carnivore. They advise like fasting and things like that. I think that's all well and good, but I think what I could do is, fast once in a while, but most of the time I'm doing, I'm eating frequently, but I'm eating smaller. So, and yeah, three larger meals. I did the math, and at least the AI tells me that I would need, as a carnivore, I'd need at least 2 pounds of meat a day to maintain my muscle mass. I would need, and so I would like, obviously, a little bit. I got to overshoot that a little bit so I can grow. So I'm thinking maybe, so 2 pounds is 32 ounces of meat per day. And then so if I could get it to maybe 36 or 40 ounces per day, that's like, 2 or 3 steaks, big steaks. I think that'd be okay. But I don't think I'm going to be able to do that, get that amount with 3 meals without eating too much and wiping myself out. So, it's just like avoiding burnout. The same principle, same concept. I can't afford anymore to spend half my day sleeping or feeling like shit. I've got stuff to do. I've got this channel to run. I've got errands. I've got responsibilities. I've got an apartment to clean. And I don't even have any. I'm not even in a relationship right now, guys. I can't even imagine how I would even be able to do something like that with all this going on. So that's kind of the thing. And I also, on that note, I really felt like I was taking on too much at once. And so I am going to be dialing back and giving myself more time to focus on what matters. Yeah. Yeah, easier to catch small game several times a day as opposed to larger game a few times. Yeah, you find an egg in a nest here, or you kill a chicken there, right? And then that's and that tides you over until you get out there with your buddies and go take down a big game animal, moose or a mammoth or something, right? And then that sustains you in the group for a while. I mean, that's how it used to be, right? As far from what I understand. So, but in the meantime, you're doing that stuff, just or you're just when you're just chilling, right? And it's like not too much effort. So, so I want to share my exercise program with you guys. I'm actually pretty excited about it. I'm still evolving it and still changing it, but I think now I told you guys that it's not acceptable for me to go the day without some kind of strenuous activity. And so I think one day a week I'm going to focus on cleaning my apartment. That'll also be my exercise for the day, my activity. Another day I do go to a gathering with a group of friends every week, and and I think I'll just walk down there for my exercise and walk back, or maybe even run depending on how I feel. So other than those 2 days, I'm going to be basically, the first day or just the first thing I do, I think I want to do, so I want to do back and biceps, pulling motions. I kind of organize my muscle groups, and the lifting groups, for weightlifting into 3 different categories. You have your pulling muscles, so your biceps, your back, your lats, all that stuff. Most of the exercises where you're working your back or your lats or your biceps, they generally work the same muscles to a more or less degree depending on the exercise. And you generally are usually not using the same muscles to pull something that you do to push something, which, pushing is your chest, your triceps, and some of your shoulders. Now your shoulders do a little both, right? So you have different shoulder muscles for pulling than you do for your pushing. Now I'm not an exercise scientist or an expert, but I do have had gotten a lot of fitness knowledge over the years imparted on me, and I have learned, and you know this, no one, and we both have a lot of knowledge of fitness. You get that drilled into you in the military. It is part of your job to know how to be physically fit and to at least have an idea of what the muscles do, what your muscles do, how to work them, and at least a good knowledge of calisthenics, if nothing else. Now, I hope, and maybe they've changed this, but one of the changes I would really like to see in our military today is to order those guys to go to the gym. That should not be optional. All right, being in the gym should be required. It's like any other part of PT, like running, calisthenics, and it needs to be graded. I think you need to be tested on how much you can lift. I don't think that should be optional. Back when I was in, though, unfortunately, that was optional. If you went to the gym or not, all they expected you to do was just push-ups, sit-ups, 2-mile run. I don't think that's enough, man. I think really they need to force you to go to the gym. They need to force you to get jacked in the military. That's how they would do it. You don't have to be a full-on bodybuilder, but dude, you definitely, weightlifting should not be in. I don't know. They may have changed it. It might be mandatory now, but it should be if it's not. I think that's definitely something that should change about the military, especially going forward. I think, especially for certain MOSs like the infantry, it should not it should be part of what you do in addition to all the push-ups that you do, all the sit-ups. Squad leaders, your squad leaders should be telling you, hey man, all right, we're going to the gym today, guys. We're going to go to the gym 2 or 3 times a week. It's mandatory, and the chain of command, reinforces this and it is required to enforce this, right? I think that is definitely something in our military that needs to happen. if it hasn't happened already. Because I tell you, I think I would have gotten a lot more fit in the military if they had done that. If they had also, included weightlifting and strength training as something that you should have to do for your job, like being tested for. Yeah, they've tried changing the PhD test so many times. I do believe that if you are infantry, you should be held to a higher standard. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, a huge problem with funding, honestly. Well, yeah, at the very least, if you're an operator, if your main job is shooting your rifle and pulling security, you need to be lifting, dude. And that needs to be mandatory. All those guys should be required to lift. That's what I believe, man. They should be. We should be bodybuilders as well. Amateurs. We're not trying to do professional or go too hard on it, but we definitely need to be doing some bodybuilding in there in mixed in with the calisthenics. I think that you really cannot go wrong there. Yeah, I mean, and there needs to be a uniform standard to it, right? Like, so this is how you do a proper bicep curl. This is how you do a proper chest press. This is how you do, proper exercises. No, you're not doing this weird stuff over here, or no, that's wrong. You need to do it this way. And squad leaders enforcing this and being taught also, like, they could teach this in PLDC and what? God damn it! I can't believe I forgot the There's BNOC, right? I think that's what it's called, BNOC. Yeah, basic non-commissioned officer course. Yes, BNOC, right? They could teach it at BNOC. They could teach it at ANOC. They teach the officers. All of this stuff should be taught to all the leadership as, okay, this is a proper bicep curl. This is a proper, chest, bench press, and they should be tested on it. Absolutely. And this is a proper, and then pull-ups, of course. Now, the thing of it is, what I found is that it got really easy for me to do a chin-up when I was getting better at bicep curls, Oh, okay, so they changed the names a little bit. That's fine. I mean, same thing, right? The non-coms definitely. Yeah, I did. I was in the Iraq War, OIF. I was in the OIF era, so they were still using those names back then. So, but yeah, like, I can only imagine the strength of our military today if we had these changes. Absolutely, just that, and if nothing else, have the combat arms guys do it. Hell, maybe even the artillery guys do it as well. But like, if you're in combat arms, for sure, you should be lifting, man. You should be required to lift. You need to be physically strong. And I'm sorry, but push-ups and sit-ups are not enough. They're just not. And after lifting and doing HIIT training for about almost going on a year now, I definitely see the difference in my strength compared to what I was doing in the military. In fact, there's things I can do now that I was not able to do in the military. Such as do a chin up at 220 pounds. Yeah. Yeah, I can only imagine, man. 2016, yeah. That's not super recent, but definitely more recent than when I got out in 2005. Yeah, you know what? We kind of got to stop it there, man, because if we go any further, we'll get into Roman politics, and I don't want to do that, right? We can't do that. So shit. But I would love to. I would love to talk about the changes that have happened recently. Ugh. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. All right, we're gonna back off from that topic there, because if we go any further with it, we'll end up doing that and can't do it. So, but yeah, I mean, but yeah, from a not, that's, I think though, that's something definitely non-political that we could do with the military to drastically improve it, especially the combat arms, the operators, especially the infantry, anybody where their primary job is killing the enemy. That is basically, those guys need to lift. Those guys need to be able to bench 300 pounds or whatever the standard they set is. Yeah, they need to be ripped and jacked. And you can't, I'm sorry, but you cannot do that just by doing push-ups. Yeah, I know guys in prison do it, but you know what? Those guys have weights too. I've you've seen the movies, and they have gyms in there. Some, not all of them do, but yeah, like there's weight benches there in the yard, right? So that I think calisthenics are important. Don't get me wrong. In fact, I'm going to start incorporating them actually again, because I have noticed differences there. Yeah, I mean, well, no, I have an opinion. I have mixed opinions about that. Okay, I think it is very important that you get some alone time, that you do get some free time. I was in my unit, the 82nd. We did not have a lot of free time, and that really messed with me. I really did not like that at all, and I saw the damaging effects of it. Now, this just might be my opinion, and look, and I know a lot of you guys, and maybe you're one of these guys that are perfectly fine with just being managed 24/7, man. But I think most human beings, for me, at least me personally, I can't speak for anybody else, but I had a real problem with just like not being able to go anywhere, not be able to do anything without having to answer to someone. And it was just like, I just need a break, Can I just, I gotta recharge, and I wasn't really allowed to do that very much. So that was tough. But the Marines, though, I will say what I know about the Marines, and I did live with them at one point in OIF when I was in Iraq. They are a lot more closely knit, and they are kind of a tribe. I gotta say, like there is a lot more micromanagement in the Marines for sure. And like I said, it's a double-edged sword, right? Micromanagement does have its benefits, but it also has its drawbacks. Yeah, I mean, the it's just a job. I think that mentality definitely should not. It definitely shouldn't be in the war zone, and it should not be. It should only apply when you're off the job. But when you're on the job, it is more than just a job. Absolutely. You need to treat it like more than just a job when you're at the job. But when you're not at the job, then yeah. So, Bionic Square, Pella, I discovered your channel about a month ago, and I've watched much of your content since then. You, sir, are a very sensible person who makes great and underrated content. Thank you very much for the great compliment, man. And I do agree with you, not to toot my own horn. I try to keep it simple, man. I try to cut the bullshit whenever I can. Unless I'm streaming, then I just talk your ear off and talk shit, which is fine. That's what you're supposed to do when you stream, right? So, by the way, I hope you guys are enjoying my new mic. It ain't perfect, but did you guys know that I'm talking to you on a headset right now? I'm sorry, but I'm fucking done with the separate mic thing. It's a pain in the ass, and I'm not going to do it anymore. So I hope this works for you guys, because this is the new normal. And I've listened to it. It doesn't sound bad to me. I hope that you guys are cool with it, but please feel free to let me know if you disagree. I might change my mind. But this is actually a headset mic that you guys are hearing. This is expensive. I put money into this, so it better sound good. But yeah, so far my friends haven't had a problem with my voice. I don't have a problem with it. I checked in OBS just now. I made a couple tweaks, but other than that, yeah, man, it's been working pretty good. Got to be honest, So I guess back to my workout regimen here. So I want to do, one day I'm going to do, pushing or pulling motions. And I want to combine that with the calisthenic side of that as well. So what it'll look like is I'm still going to do HIIT training, which is 1 set till failure. That is what I'm going to do with each exercise. I'm going to do my biceps, and I'm just giving you an example. My pull downs, chin pull downs, and then lat pull downs, pull ups basically with the machine, and then. But I think no matter what, I'll try to do a chin up or two first, or if I can, when I can actually do pull ups, actual pull ups, I'll do those, and then I'll start with the pull downs until failure, and just do that, and then the rows, and the bicep curls, and then I'm basically, and then after that, yeah, just do as many pull up or pull up negatives that I can, and kind of, yeah. It does sound good. Did not notice the difference until you mentioned it. Okay, great, man. That's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I was going for. You're going, brother. I'm happy to see you back streaming again. I'm happy to hear you're doing better as well. You got this. We're all together. Yes, thank you for being a member, man. And I absolutely am thrilled to be back. And thank you for your time, man. And good luck with what you're doing. Yeah, so that's actually what I want, man. I don't mind, because see, you can pick apart anybody's voice if you listen hard enough, and that's what I've learned. So I'm just done. Yeah, so I'm done with the standalone mics, guys. Maybe if I get this channel gets much bigger, I might, I'll keep an open mind on it, but I might get a professional studio if I was rich enough. That's also a possibility as well. But until I can do something like that, I just hate having the mic in my face, guys. I really do. Well, it just makes it harder for me to play. It's just annoying as hell. And I have the same. And I realized when I was using the headset mic that it really didn't sound much worse. So I think it's just a hype thing, man. But anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna be exercising differently. I'm gonna be putting that calisthenics there. And then with the pushing, obviously I'll be doing push-ups after I do all the stuff till failure. And so I kind of want to, it's kind of a holistic thing. And so after I do the pushing, bench press, shoulder press, that kind of thing, then I go on to legs, leg day, lunges, leg extensions, leg curls, I'm not sure about calves, because the other workouts after that are kind of going to work those. So I may do calf raises, but for sure, no matter what, after that, I'm going to basically do 10 minutes of squats, as much as I can within 10 minutes. And that's going to be the calisthenics for that day. That's going to be the endurance. So I do want to do endurance training combined with high intensity training. And so with plenty of time between muscle groups so that I don't get burnt out. And I'm active every day, and I'm working my muscles and working my blood and my heart every day. So the next thing I do after that is I believe I go running, okay? No, I do abs. That's right, I do core. So I'll do planks. I'll do, there's this really cool exercise that Jay Cutler taught me. Yeah, I follow his channel. He's a good guy. I think he's a good guy. Now, I mean, I don't agree with the high volume stuff, but like as far as like how to do the exercise, and I like his format, the way he presents the knowledge. Rock solid guy, very easy to listen to, and yeah, I tried his what's it called, inclined crunches. He said don't use a weight, just do crunches, at an incline, at more of an incline. And I did that, yeah, and it smoked me. So yeah, I'm probably going to do that from now on. I might still use a weight now and then, but anyway, I'll do those. I'll do the back raises. They have a machine where you stick your legs in it and you grab a weight and move backwards. So I do that, and then yeah, so that'll be, so my core, that'll be the next day, and then after that I'll run as far as I can, and then the next day I will I do sprints, and then the next day I do rucking. So I have a good pack, and I did it yesterday, and it was great. It worked out good. I got these weights that you fill with water, and you put it in your backpack, and it makes it heavier. So I did that. I put that on, and I walked around the block several times, and I definitely felt it when I got back. So that's something I'm going to be doing also, and then after that, I take a couple days off. So this isn't all crammed in a week here. This might be the course over 8 days or whatever. But like, so it is kind of in a way, kind of following the Mike Mincer thing. But yeah, so just a lot of stuff I had to learn this month, guys. You know, triumph and tragedy. I had a lot of good moments mixed in with a lot of bad moments, and just, but in the background, yeah. So that was my month, guys. It's been an hour and 15 minutes. I think I told my story pretty well. So the solutions were salt water, weighing and measuring my food, sipping water, which I'm doing right now, throughout the day, in between meals, and not too close to meals, you know, and working out more and being active doing strenuous physical activity every day of some kind. I don't have to break a sweat, but I definitely need to, you know, work my heart a little bit and get my blood flowing and exert my muscles in some way. So, however that is. So that's basically the solution, how I climbed out of that. There were other things I did. Very philosophical, spiritual lessons I learned through this as well that I'm not going to go into because I don't think it's appropriate. And also, some of it I do have to keep vague and keep private for various reasons. And there are some things that happened this month that I cannot share and won't go into on my channel. Those of you that know me personally may know what they are. But yeah, there was a lot of upheaval in that as well. Yeah, I can't think of anything else, guys. It's good to be back. I look forward to coming out with the content again. I can't promise you guys exactly when I'm going to be dropping that new backlog, but it is going to be soon, especially now that I'm hydrated, now that I'm rested. And yeah, I am uncomfortable. That's another thing I learned too, is that discomfort does go away when I either lean back in my chair or I leave my computer. So, you know, if it gets too bad, I just leave my computer and I go do something. I go clean or whatever. Anyway, yeah. So, unless you guys have any questions, I think that's pretty much it. I'm probably going to end the stream here in a few minutes. I'll talk a few more minutes, but I was going to actually look at making a new build today for Stellaris and maybe covering it, but I think we're gonna hold off on that. I think because I did end up having a lot to say. So yeah, that see, you know, I got one job in this world, and that's to get back up. You know, life knocked me down this month, but I'm back on my feet and I'm ready to go again, and that's what I'm gonna continue to do. I can't lose when I get back up. You feel me? It's just impossible. If you get back up and keep going, you don't have to keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, but you do need to get back to it. Maybe try it a different way, you know, do something different if you have to, but just keep going, keep moving. And if you do need to abandon something or go down a different path, you can do that, but you keep moving forward. You don't, I don't stagnate. I don't lay there and just wallow in my misery. And I was doing a little bit of that this month too. So that's something else that I could have done differently. But yeah, coulda, woulda, shoulda. But from this point forward, I think we're gonna have some good times. I am gonna be going to immigration here in a few weeks. I am gonna need to get mentally ready to go back to the U.S. And I guess my priority now is to get a backlog till August. So or maybe even into September. I think September would be better. Honestly, I'm going to try for the rest of the year, but obviously no promises on that. You're correct. Getting back up, and as you're saying, to keep moving forward is always something you can do. Yeah. Because, see, getting up is a choice. Laying there is a choice. No matter what's going on, it's my choice to stay miserable. Okay, I can get miserable. Something can make me miserable, or I can feel misery, but it's my choice whether or not I want to sit around in it. And I want to stew in it and feed off of it. That's a choice. Nobody can make that for me but me. Nothing else can make that for me but me. And getting up is a choice. Getting on with your life, getting on with it, getting over it. You know that game, Getting Over It? That is a choice. And I choose to get over it. I choose to move on. I don't have to forget. I don't have to condone. I don't have to support or enable. And I don't have to be happy with any particular thing, but I do need to get on with my life. I do need to start living again. I think what really kills people, honestly, I think really what happens is people just lay there, and then death takes them. I firmly believe that. You can't prove it, and there's no empirical or scientific evidence for it. Well, there might be. But I'm not aware of any studies out there about this. But that is, I still think that that's the truth. I think really most people, if they lay there long enough, something's gonna, they're gonna go. I mean, you see this in movies, in certain movies and things like that depict people that are just wallowing in their misery, and I choose not to do that. I refuse to believe that my destiny is to die miserable. I just refuse. So when stuff like this happens, man, at some point, and that this happened recently, I was like, all right, that's it. We've been at this in a month. I'm gonna move on now. I don't care if I'm still in pain. I'm not using that as an excuse to not do stuff anymore. So that's why I got up and I started working out again. That's why I got up and I at least opened CapCut, my editor, and took a look at it. I made the post, and now I'm here with the stream. I didn't know how this was going to go. I didn't know how I was going to feel. But yeah. So anyway, glad to be back, guys. Yeah, I mean, anyway, thanks for coming out, those of you that did. Appreciate it. And I just wanted to say I love you guys. I love you viewers. In fact, I want to look at my numbers right now and see, this is why I keep coming back to you guys and why I love you guys so much. I just went through hell this month, and I still got 96 subscribers in the past 28 days. I mean, you guys like me. You don't just like my content, you like me. And you stick around. And I can't put a price on that, man. I really can't. That means so much to me. You guys may or may not have any idea. Hey, Azum Tama, yeah, long time to see. Yeah, I know, man. I got knocked down, dude. I got knocked on my ass that month, man. Actually, there is one other thing I want to talk about. I do want to mention. Some of you may have noticed about a month ago, the great EP30 hopped into my channel. That was him. I want to confirm it here. I may have done it already, but I want to confirm it here on my channel. That was him. Okay? That was him. I did get noticed. All right? Yeah, see that's the strength of my channel. And thank you for the super chat. Yeah. that is the strength of my channel, is you guys, the quality of my subscribers. My subscribers have proven their loyalty over these years. But you know what? That's because I do the right thing. And I never want to forget that either. That's not because I'm a power unto myself. It's not because I'm God's gift to the earth. It's nothing to do with ego. It's because I'm doing my work well. Because I deserve it. Because I'm doing esteemable things. So, you know what? And because I'm generally doing the right thing. Yeah, I got a tall channel. That's hilarious. You know, I hate being tall, but my channel's pretty fucking tall. Gotta admit. Yeah, you're right. When it comes to that principle, man, I may not have the numbers yet, man, but my numbers don't go down, do they? Honestly, no. In fact, I cannot count one time in the past 10 years of having this channel where my numbers have went down. They've either flatlined, they've either stagnated, they either stayed the same or they went up. I've never been negative in subscribers month after month. It's never happened. I've never had a huge drop in subscribers. And for that, I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful. Obviously, I've lost subscribers, of course. Every YouTuber does. It's par for the course. It's part of doing business. But overall, like the overall big picture, I have never lost a big chunk of subscribers. For anything. Not when I made that apology video. Not when I did that 2-hour rant. Not with all the other weird shit that I've done on this channel. No, or I say out of the norm, out of the box things that I've done on this channel. You guys have never done it. And I'm so grateful for that. I used to be so scared that I would say or do one thing wrong and I would lose everybody. And not going to allow myself to get cocky over that. But it has given me some confidence over the years. Absolutely. I do feel more confident today with the things I say. I think that's why I was able to come out with that controversial, how to save Stellaris video, which I did run by EP30, and I was surprised as fuck that he was cool with that video. I really thought that he was going to have some criticisms, and he didn't. It's weird. He was actually agreed with a lot of what I said there. I was like, wow. Now, I mean, that's I'm kind of telling it here, but no, man, he didn't have too much of a problem with it. When he hit me up in the DMs, and he did, I asked him, I was like, that's you, right? Is that really you, or are you a bot or something? I confirmed his identity. He showed me his screen. He showed me his studio, which that's very hard to do, unless the only way that could be fake is if he gave that to somebody, and that person, is acting in bad faith, or that really is him. So very unlikely that was fake. What he showed me, the screenshots he showed me. So I was like, yeah, okay. And then he acknowledged me on his stream when I hopped in there. So yeah, man, that's really him. So we talked, and and that went well, and it went really well. We talked for I think an hour, at least an hour or two, or back and forth on the DMs. Yeah, he's too busy to do voice. I mean, so am I. So I mean, just like, yeah, I mean, it. But yeah, we got a good rapport going. We were able to compare notes. I actually was able to say some things to him that I was a little worried about saying, but I was able to say it, and we actually gave each other criticisms too. I shared with him some things that I had observed watching his content that I thought that he might want to look at, and then of course there were things about my channel that there's always things about my channel that can be looked at. We know this, right? So I mean, such as the consistency of my content, right? Such as the consistency of my content, obviously. The quality of my content could always be improved. could always be more professional. But we got to run before we got to walk before we can run, right? And we're all working on something, and but yeah, he is a very cool guy. EP3O is actually a pretty cool guy behind the scenes. He's very agreeable, easygoing, not all around nice dude. I definitely did not have a bad time with him. There was now. So I'll tell you the rest of this. So apparently it did go well, because he not only did he invited me to. So he invited me to a Discord. There is a Discord that Stellaris creators have together that we go to compare notes, and he invited me to that. Okay. Obviously, I'm not going to share what that is, and I was requested not to do that for obvious reasons, and I won't. So, but yeah, the secret club does exist, I guess. And I even Rasmus was like, "Are you inviting me to your secret club?" But yeah, he invited me to that, and so I hopped in, and I got to talk to people. They were all there, all the big creators. Yeah, Montu, other channels that you may have seen on the feed when you search Stellaris. They were all there. And yeah, and I got to talk to some of them, and I had some good conversation with some of them. But there was one conversation that was tough for me. There was. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to give details. I'm definitely not going to talk about who it was. All right? Definitely not. But yeah, I was challenged a little bit. But you know what? It was good for me. And you know what? And you know what? Regardless, the person I talked to did have some valid points. And now I don't agree with all of them, but we're never going to agree on anything, right, guys? I mean, that video I came out with, it's like in my comment section, it's no different. My goal when I have a disagreement with somebody is to try to find some common ground. Yeah, well, I hope so too. And unfortunately, because what happened this month, I haven't been able to take advantage of that networking opportunity yet. But this month, yeah, absolutely, I'm going to try to hop into that channel again and start doing some work. See if I can. See if I can pick up the pieces there. Yeah, but I felt like it was my duty to let you guys know that this happened. Okay. I may start getting a lot more subscribers, and I might actually even start doing a collab here and there. We'll see what happens. But that door has opened. I will say that. Now this month might have messed that up. I have to take a look, but I think I could at worst weasel my way back in. You know how I am. I'm a good talker, man. I'm good with people for the most part. Not that I'm manipulative or dishonest, but see, it's my honesty is my charm. Okay, my honesty is my charm. My lack of manipulation is my charm. You guys see that, right? At least that's what I believe is good about me. I have been writing down and considering my personal assets, because I had a low self-esteem for a long time, guys. And it's really helped me lately to really just step back and consider, okay, I do have some good qualities here. I'm not perfect. Like I said, I'm not God's gift to earth. I'm not a guru. I'm not some big shot or whatever. But there are some really strong characteristics to me that people are drawn to. And it's obvious. I don't know. I only have like 4,562 reasons why that might be true, right? Maybe it might be true that some people actually like me, right? Well, why is that? So yeah, it's hard to have a low self-esteem for a length of time when you got this many clicks. It's hard. It's a stretch, right? The bullshit that your head tells you, it's a stretch when you got this going on. You start to go, come on, man. You got to admit that this is what you're saying here is bullshit. You know what I mean? to that negative voice in my head, right? You know, tells me I'm not good enough and all that stuff. You know, it's hard. That voice gets quieter and quieter as this keeps going. And now I do other things to make sure it doesn't go in the opposite direction, which is, you know, making me arrogant and basically turning me into a total asshat and having a downfall. I do watch YouTube downfall videos. Those keep me sane. Those tell me what not to do, right? Yeah, I think any aspiring YouTuber should always should at some point in their lives, in their career, just binge watch YouTube downfall videos, shit by like Sunny D and shit like that. Some of you may know who he is, but there's a lot of big creators that just cover YouTubers that had a huge following and then just lost half their subscribers overnight or something, and like what they did to cause that, you know, stuff like that. So just good lessons as to what not to do. But anyway, guys, yeah, I met up, you know, I had a conversation with the 3PO. I got invited to the secret club. I have direct contact with the wider the Stellaris community of Stellaris creators. Though I don't consider myself an exclusive Stellaris YouTuber, I mean, I pretty much have had that title thrust upon me, and I do admit it, and I do accept it, but with the asterisk that, you know, that's not my ultimate goal. And I want you guys to know that. Yes, I may call myself a Stellaris YouTuber right now, but that doesn't mean that that's my dream or my desire. And as long as that's going on, it will work towards being, you know, growing this channel and putting variety into this channel. I will never just only cover Stellaris, but Stellaris will always be a big part of my channel until either something becomes much bigger. So, I mean, let's be honest, guys, and you guys can't blame me for this, right? If I were to come out with a spirituality video tomorrow, and it fucking goes viral, I mean, you know, I get tens of thousands of views overnight, and suddenly I have 10,000 more subscribers than I did yesterday. Well, yeah, I'm sorry, Stellaris, but you know I love you, but yeah, I'm gonna go do this now. You know what I mean? I mean, can you blame me? This has happened to many YouTubers. There was a guy, Warhammer YouTuber, Luton. He started as a gaming channel, okay, and he did gaming streams, videos, that kind of thing, but then he made that, you know, he made that Emperor of Man video and some other long form, beautiful masterpieces of, you know, Warhammer lore videos that we all have come to know and love, those of you that know who I'm talking about. And dude, he got massive success. So yeah, at some point he had to tell his gaming audience that, hey man, you know what? Yeah, I'm a lore channel now. You know, it was a good run, and I appreciate you guys for helping me get there. But yeah, I definitely, this is my calling. This is what life has chosen for me. And you know what? And I'm gonna say God, because that's what I believe in. I'm not any particular religion. I'm spirit, but I am spiritual. The God of my understanding, if he decides that one of my videos is gonna go viral, and he wants me to take a different path, guys, I'm telling you, I'm gonna take it. It's nothing personal. But until that day comes, as long as Stellaris keeps giving me the numbers, that's what I'm gonna do. You know? But then again, maybe something happens with Stellaris, and Stellaris itself goes viral and becomes way more popular than it ever has, and my numbers start to skyrocket because of that. Well, then yeah, I will roll hard on Stellaris, absolutely. So yeah, you know what? Actually, I was gonna end the stream, but you bring up a really good question. What are your other favorite games? So here's some games I'm working on at the moment. For one, I'll tell you what got me through this month. Greg Tech, for Minecraft. It's a Minecraft mod pack. If anybody's heard of that, GregTech is the fucking Dark Souls of automation. Let me tell you. So, automation games, I'm a big fan of automation games. In fact, I've been very close many times to switching to that category or at least covering it. And I've been very close to covering it lately. I even had some projects in the works, but I abandoned them or stopped working on them. I may dust them off and put them out again, but so most of the big automation games, Dyson Sphere Program, Satisfactory, Factorio, I have played the crap out of those games. I know a lot about those games. I'm very good at them, or at least I think so. Not perfect. Just like this game, not the guru, not the best player, but I definitely know my shit for the most part, where it matters. And I do know how to teach, and I do know how to teach it to others. I could teach it to others. So I am at that position with Dyson Sphere, Satisfactory, and Factorio. 7 Days to Die has always been in the background in my life somewhere. I have always played that game. I have 5,000 hours in that game. Which, now you see why it really pisses me off that I've never, my content with that game has never been wildly successful. Because I have so much knowledge to give about that game. It's just, for whatever reason, people don't click on it. Now, I think I am going to keep working at it. Also, I do have a lot of issues with the direction that game has gone in the years. There are a lot of things that have ticked me off about that game and have kept me from playing it for long periods at a time. So there's 7 Days to Die. I'm huge on that. Minecraft, I'm huge. Obviously, the reason's obvious. I don't cover Minecraft. That game is so saturated, even the modded. And the thing of it is, I could do modded, and that's what I usually do. See, I hate vanilla. That's the other reason I don't do Minecraft, because if I were to step into that space, I would have to do vanilla, and I hate vanilla. I think vanilla is made for kids, basically. So before you judge me for liking Minecraft, I play the real Minecraft, modded Minecraft. I do tech packs. I do, I do all the mods. I do all the mods 10, all the mods 9. I love all the mods series, though it is a little easy compared to GregTech. But I've been working on this mod pack GregTech, man. It is nuts. It is dude. Those of you that play modded Minecraft, man, and have heard of GregTech, know what I'm saying here. It is the Dark Souls of tech packs, man. It is the Dark Souls. It's like if RLCraft was a tech mod pack, was a tech focused mod pack, that's GregTech. GregTech is the RLCraft of tech progression mod packs. It is. Oh, well, see, I think Minecraft should just add shit to their game that isn't stupid, that isn't childish. Why? For the love of God, Mojang, why have you not added transport pipes to your game? Why have you not added tech to your game? What the F? Why have you just... Yeah, it just... Oh my God. You guys have no idea how much it searched me. I can make a video on that. Ranting about that. The wasted potential of Minecraft, man. Oh. Fuck Microsoft, man. And that's another thing. Recently, I have been more and more just disillusioned and put off with Microsoft in general. Windows, I couldn't break away fast enough. Each day that goes by, I like Windows less and less. Yeah, it's fine to have games made for 5-year-olds, but don't take a game that was made originally for 20-year-olds and make it a 5-year-old game. That's not cool. I'm back after fixing network. All right, welcome back, man. But yeah, dude, so I have a real problem with vanilla Minecraft, man. Like I said, I think it's made for kids, and like I said, I'm gonna do my best to avoid outright judging the people that prefer that over modded. But really, it kind of does say something. Okay, where's your maturity at, man? If you really, I mean, I don't know. Look, vanilla Minecraft does have its charm, but I literally outgrew it, you know. And once I tried actual mod packs like Infinity Evolved, I really could not go back to vanilla Minecraft for much longer after that. And I really think, yeah, so honestly, modded Minecraft is what should just be Minecraft. They should have added that stuff to their game already. They've had many years to do it. Yeah, I agree. So, so modded Minecraft is actually a very important piece of the automation genre pie that a lot of automation gamers I've noticed don't really acknowledge. It's not really acknowledged. Dude, Minecraft tech mods are very complex. They are just as complex as Satisfactory or Factorio or any of those games. And they will scratch that itch just as well. Especially Mechanism. Mechanism, Applied Energistics. There is so many complicated, cool shit that you can do with that, just like you could do with Satisfactory and Factorio. So and GregTech is no exception, or is no different. GregTech actually, it's a very, very difficult mod pack, but it's also very rewarding, and it has a lot of mods that aren't really being used right now. Also, I don't know if you guys know this, but I hate Create. I do. I realized it the other day. I tried to get into it again. I hate Create. In fact, I think Create has screwed up the modded Minecraft tech community. I think Create has actually damaged the tech space in modded Minecraft, the modern tech space. I believe that Create is inefficient. I believe it's nonsensical, and it's not very practical in how the mechanics of it. Now, on the surface, it looks smart, okay? It's got a lot of spectacle, right? And it gives you that illusion that, okay, this actually makes sense. It's really not. The way it is ridiculous. I absolutely hate the Create mechanics. They make no sense. They're not practical. They're illogical. The way it's designed, and just it's all for show. Really, when it boils down to it, the only reason it is the way it is for show. It's for spectacle, for emotions, basically. And I'm not about that. Not about that life. So I started thinking about GregTech, and I got into it. And it's like, man, and don't get me wrong. There are things I hate about GregTech, but I knew I would hate it going in. Let's go. There's things you hate about Dark Souls, but you play it because you hate it. You know what I mean? So GregTech, I'm playing that because I hate it. Because it's evil. It's extremely challenging, right? I'm finally getting into the LVH after almost 2 or 3 weeks of playing. Yeah. So I'm learning GregTech right now. That's kind of what I'm doing. There is another game, though, I want to get into. And then I got to go, guys. So there is this game. I don't know if any of you guys have heard it, but let me see what its Steam page is at now. Store page is at now. Okay, it's got 22,000 overwhelmingly positive reviews. Let me see the percentage on this. 96% of users for this game are positive. And it's overwhelmingly positive recently as well, with only a 1% change. So people are really liking this game, and I'm really liking this game. It's called Abiotic Factor. I don't know if any of you heard of it, but I'm actually going to do some videos on it on the side, and I am going to come out with them and see what you guys think. But I am loving this game too. This game is actually okay. So it's really weird too, and it's out of left field. It's not like any game. Well, actually, technically, it is like a game you played, and I'll get to that in a second. So, the main really cool draw of this game is that imagine if you were playing Half-Life, but you got to survive, build, and craft in that world. That's basically this game. But it goes beyond that. There's also some elements from some other popular horror games like Silent Hill, and though it doesn't get too scary there, and it doesn't bank too much on the horror aspect, which I like. I'm not really a fan of horror-focused games. But yeah, there are some scary moments in this game, and just like there were in Half-Life, and a lot of similarities to the original Half-Life, and just but it's so much more than that. Also, this game is crazy good, and it came out in May of last year, and I really have a hard time not seeing this game just at some point. I mean, it's already got a lot of success, but I see this game getting noticed at some point and just taking off. Like I've seen happen to many games. They have definitely got something special here. Now I haven't played the game all the way through, so I got to do that. But I imagine if the game sucked at the end, it wouldn't have those overwhelmingly positive reviews. Now this is a very good game. Very, very happy with it. I've been playing with it with all my friends. It's easy to play with your friends, so that's points in general. It's so easy to play with your friends. It's the difficulty is super balanced. In fact, I haven't played many games like this where I haven't had the urge to change any of the settings because they're so balanced. They're challenging enough to where it doesn't feel too easy, and it's easy enough to and has enough quality of life. You know, general interest has gone. What's that? Okay. Wait, you don't like Half-Life? Yeah, you have to give me some context there, man. But anyway, yeah, so that's another game I'm working on that I'm playing right now. And there's other different things I've done on the side, but I don't do them enough. And then of course there's Stellaris as always, but I've kind of taken a break from that as well. Anyway. All right, guys, I got to wrap it up. It's good to be back. It's really good to have a heart-to-heart with you guys. I really appreciate you guys coming out. I love you guys so much, and hopefully this is the first of many streams. I think so. Let's talk about my streams for just a second. My plan going forward with the streams, I do want to make them continue to schedule them if I can. But I think I do want to reserve the right to just Ninja stream if I need to. Ninja stream meaning like I don't plan for it. I just hop on. I want the freedom to be able to do that as well. So you might see me just hop on, but then you might see me schedule it as well. In fact, maybe what I could do is I could just do this when I feel like just hopping on, shooting the shit, and then. But then I could do, schedule like a build showcase or something like that, or something else or a particular topic. All right, man. Thanks for all your support, guys. So that's what my plan for the stream is. We'll play it by ear. I do plan on streaming a little more if I can. And yeah, so you guys take care, and I'll see you next time.